All right, this is Rudy. It's Thursday, June the 25th, and we're looking at less than 2 weeks of Ken Hovind being released from prison. And many of us are praying fervently that there's no surprises from the opposition, and that Ken Hovind indeed walks out of that prison and is reunited with his family once again after 9 years. So it's been a while since we've had a victory for the good guys, and looking forward, really looking forward to July the 8th, and just praying that we stay in the will of God all the way up until that date. But on my Lone Star 1776 channel, that's kind of become a Ken Hovind channel, and I don't know what will become of that in the future. It could be just a museum of a recording of everything that happened as God worked a mighty miracle in the Ken Hovind situation. And I don't know what will happen to it in the future. Probably we'll just go silent, and we'll talk to Ken Hovind. He'll probably pick up a new YouTube channel. But you guys know me, man. I'm a Quran burner, Talmud burner, protesting abortion clinics, walking around with my AR-15 and everything else. So given that Ken Hovind situation that's happening on Lone Star 1776, it might be best that that channel just just becomes a museum of the mighty miracle that God has worked in the efforts to free Ken Hovind, because it has so many testimonies of supporters from all around the world and things like that. So this is my new channel for the time being for my personal stuff and 1776 Lone Star. Same thing as Lone Star 1776, just put the 1776 in the front. Well, anyway, I think people are absolutely losing their mind. They're going crazy. Some people that I have a great deal of respect for, like Pastor James David Manning and Pastor Wiley Drake, they've helped out a great deal with Ken Hovind, and for that I am eternally grateful, and I know that God sees everything they did, and I know that God knows the motives of their heart, and I know that I sincerely thank them from the bottom of my heart for helping Ken Hovind. But just because I may love and respect an individual doesn't mean I go along with everything that they say. And all of this push in the media to get rid of the word African, or to get rid of the Confederate flag and get rid of the word Southern, it's absolutely just crazy in my opinion. From several different aspects. Let me give you this aspect. If something is offensive to a group of people, does that mean that we have to get rid of it? I mean, is that going to be the new standard? So what we're saying is the Confederate flag is offensive to some blacks, therefore the people who fly the Confederate flag need to get rid of it? That's absurd. I mean, what about the 4th of July that's coming up in just a few days? The 4th of July is offensive to some Europeans. So we're going to stop celebrating the 4th of July because it's offensive? Where does it stop? Absolutely insane, right? And God made adjectives, and adjectives are a good thing. And there's Africans, and there's Southern, and there's different flags. And it's okay to have different flags. And rather than trying to get rid of the things that offend people, maybe we should deal with people's hearts so that they don't get so easily offended. And I think what's happening here, I hate to say it, but money seems to be affecting a great deal of our preachers in this world. And we all know who controls the money, the Federal Reserve, and we know who controls the Federal Reserve. And I believe when somebody gets to a certain point in this life, that they get approached with money, and they'll change their behavior based upon the opportunity for money and better prestige and better power, more power, and a bigger listening audience if they want such a thing. So I just wanted to say that I'm not getting rid of my Confederate flag. I don't think there's anything wrong with my Confederate flag. If you find it offensive, that's your problem. That's not my problem. And I find a lot of things offensive in this world, and I don't expect people to get rid of it just because I find it offensive. At what point are we going to stop? I mean, at some point, I guess black people are going to say they find white skin offensive. So we'll just have to take a black mark slot and like color our skin black so that we're not offensive to black people. I mean, maybe black people, should not get so easily offended by certain things, and maybe white people should not get so offended by certain things, and we should learn to deal with a world of diversity. And all of this talk about we are all one, and we all need to be one. That's so not true. I don't know where they're coming at that biblically. I would rather be alone with God's truth than unified with a world of lies. And I'm not motivated by unity. I'm not motivated to become one with the world. And the truth is offensive, and people just need to learn to deal with that. Can you imagine when Jesus got up in front of thousands of people? This is a true story. I forget exactly what book it's in, but you can look it up. Jesus got up in front of thousands of people. You know what he said to them? He said a very hard saying. He said, if you want eternal life, you need to eat my flesh and drink my blood. Do you think that those people found that saying offensive? Jesus ran them off. And when they were leaving, Jesus didn't go chase them down and say, oh, brothers and sisters, come back. We need unity. Don't run away. No, he just let them go because they were offended. The truth of the matter is that Jesus Christ is the only one that has the words of eternal life. And if he makes a statement, you need to eat my flesh and drink my blood, well, he's the only one that's got eternal life. So if you want it, you better pay attention to what he's saying and figure out what he's meaning. Jesus wasn't worried about being offensive. And let me say this too in closing. Let's just imagine for a second that every single person in America, which is absurd, right? But every single person in America agreed. We were all in agreement, some miraculous agreement, that we need to get rid of the Confederate flag. Okay, so we take down all Confederate flags all over America. Do you really think that's going to stop the killing? Is all of a sudden we're going to have a miraculous society and there's not going to be any killing? How about if we start? We start implementing biblical law, and if somebody murders another person, you put that person to death. Once it's proven. The problem is that all of our prison systems and judicial systems are corrupted, and so you can't get justice anywhere, and it's just absolutely crazy. I'll say another thing too. I'm very concerned about all of this being a setup by the government. These false flags, and our news stories are being manipulated, and MK Ultra, and this whole thing just with crisis actors, and they want to get rid of a certain aspect of society, and they're setting up false flags to manipulate human behavior, and it's just very apparent. But all of this talk about getting rid of the word Southern or getting rid of the word African or getting rid of our Confederate flag is absolutely ludicrous. And I don't really care about unity. You can go talk about it all you want to. I would rather be alone with God's truth than unified with a world of lies. You can take your crisis actors, your false flags, that you're just the whole thing, and get rid of all the offensive things in the world. That ain't going to fix anything. Getting rid of the Confederate flag ain't going to fix anything. It's just a bunch of show. It's showboating because it was a message that was passed on down from high. And I guarantee you, if angels came to me with $1 million bribe, I would be thinking, maybe these aren't angels of God. I don't think God needs to send money to get my attention. Just make sure, the Lord will find a way to let me know that it's a word from Him, and it's called discernment. And you say, Lord, please let me know that this is a word from you and not from the devil. And He'll put that in your heart, but your motives have to be clean, and you shouldn't have any expectations. You don't do good for the sake of a reward. You do good because that's what God said to do. And God is creator of the universe. He is the only way to eternal life. And if you want to please Him, it's impossible to please God without faith. And so you just have faith that He's going to work everything out. And that's my little 2 cents on this whole Confederate flag thing. And I'll put this on my personal YouTube channel. Take care.